Back in the present, Leonidas tells Apollo that the Spartans almost lost the war because of his oracles, and he transforms his shield into a spinning blade. He throws it at Apollo, who manages to catch it, but Leonidas pushes it forward, and it sends Apollo flying. He tells Apollo not to stand in front of a Spartan if he wants to live a long life, but he immediately recovers, so Leonidas continues to attack him. Gaul wonders why Apollo's hands are sparkling, so Hilda explains that it's because of his divine treasure, which is known as the thread of Artemis, and we learn that it can transform into anything. She knows that he used it to block the last attack, which explains why he was able to recover quickly, and he transforms it into a pair of gauntlets. Leonidas uses his shield to launch a barrage of attacks, but Apollo manages to dodge them, and Zeus notes that his footwork is amazing, since he's the god of boxing. He manages to get in close, and starts punching Leonidas, who struggles to keep up with his movements. But the Spartans think Apollo is a coward, since he isn't fighting Leonidas head-on, and they start taunting him, so he decides to change his tactic. He uses his threads to draw lines on both sides, and tells Leonidas their ring was too big, so he decided to make it smaller. Leonidas asks him what he's trying to pull, so he explains that he's giving the audience what they want by making the conditions more favorable for Leonidas, but still overpowering him in the end. The Spartans are angry since he's mocking them, and Ares thinks he's underestimating Leonidas, but Zeus notes that he's at his strongest since he always rises to meet any expectation. Apollo unleashes his ultimate battle mode, but Gaul worries that Gira might lose it since she's the proudest of the Valkyrie. She tells Leonidas to kill Apollo since he's mocking them, and Leonidas promises to make him bow before them, but Apollo notes that it will never happen. Leonidas' shield transforms again, and he tries to crush Apollo with it, but he manages to dodge the attack, and he uses his threads to stop Leonidas from moving. He charges up his fist and lands a solid hit, so Gaul thinks Leonidas is done for, but Hilda knows that it isn't over yet, since a Spartan's pride is so strong that they won't yield to the gods. Leonidas suddenly counters with his head, and he smashes Apollo to the ground, asking him what it's like to kneel before a human. He reminds Apollo not to stand before a Spartan, since he'll only look pathetic, but he gets back on his feet, and notes that Leonidas looks beautiful when he's fighting, since he puts all of his passion into it. The gods think he's pathetic, since he's acting like an arrogant fool, but Ares knows that it isn't true, since Apollo actually knows his place in Valhalla. In a flashback, we see a monster called the Python terrorizing the village of Delphi, after he was banished from Valhalla for his appearance. Ares' divine soldiers try to stop him, but he easily defeats them, and scares away the villagers in his path. But one day, Apollo appears before him and challenges him to a fight, so Python charges at him, but Apollo defeats him with a single hit. He refuses to admit defeat, and notes that he hasn't given up yet, but Apollo is happy to hear this, and tells him they can continue their fight the next day. Python spends the next few days trying to defeat Apollo, but he's still no match for him, and Apollo asks Python why he keeps challenging him. He explains that he lives a miserable life because of his appearance, and everyone hates him wherever he goes, so he can't lose to someone like Apollo, who was born with every advantage in the world. He tells Python he's beautiful, but he doesn't believe Apollo, since he knows that he looks hideous. So Apollo notes that his appearance doesn't matter, and explains that he's beautiful, since he can look deep into his soul and fight with passion. Apollo tells him they aren't so different, and we learn that he used to be a mediocre god, but he worked hard to develop his skills, until he became one of the 12 Olympians. He tells Python that those who are born beautiful live stagnant lives, since they take everything they have for granted. But the ones born with nothing know themselves better than anyone, so they're aware of their weakness, and continue to change since they take nothing for granted. He tells Python to take pride in his beauty, and he cries as he recalls how he's hurt people, but Apollo tells him it's okay, since he was just defending himself. Python notes that he won't lose to anyone, and Apollo tells him it's what makes him beautiful, so he decides to change his ways. He starts living with the villagers in Delphi, where he builds a temple for Apollo, and he writes down Apollo's motto, which is to always know oneself.